Welcome back, folks. This is Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter on the podcast Behind the Badge at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in Rochester, New York. An organization of about 1,200 employees, serving a community of about 750,000 people, and there's always moving targets. There's always things that people need to know more about, and immigration's been a conversation we've been having, it seems like a couple years, in immigration enforcement and what the Sheriff's Office does or does not do in that arena. But more, I think the anxiety and the miscommunication or the misinformation is out there. So we like to do these podcasts. This is our first podcast we've done on the conversation of immigration. And we brought two experts into the conversation, and one from law enforcement, and one from the Monroe County Ledge. And just love to hear a little bit more on that and your points of view on that. And this is exciting for me because these are bold conversations. A lot of people don't like to have them, but let's just talk about it. So, Deputy, want a quick introduction of yourself, or you want me to introduce your Marine Corps experience and things like that? But
no, that won't be necessary.
Yeah.
I'm Deputy Ray Ruiz. Been a Monroe County Deputy Sheriff now for almost 24 years now, closing in on. I got hired in 2003 in the Jail Bureau. I've done some different things with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I've been in the jail, I've been transport, and now I'm finishing up my career in court. And since 2018, I've proudly served as one of the community liaisons when the program actually initiated, and been blessed to be in this position, helping the community, my community, being Latino myself, second generation. And it's a privilege to serve.
Yeah, we appreciate you. And we're going to share a bit about, you see some video of you doing outreach, during this time of anxiety, if you will. One of the best things we can do is get out and communicate. And it's a big organization. I can't be everywhere and talking to everybody, but we put your liaison position on steroids for a bit, and your numbers were incredible. We want to share that today. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. Mercedes Vazquez Simmons, we appreciate our relationship. We appreciate what you do for your community. I've been down on Clinton Avenue, North Clinton Avenue, many times with you, walking
Yes, you have.
the real street, your nonprofit that you do. Talking about what you do inside the school district. I mean, you're deep. You're in it.
Oh, I'm
you're
fully vested.
Yeah. This is not you are not the white paper, let's write about it, talk about it. You live it.
That's right.
If you don't mind me saying, I believe your personal car had bullet holes in it at one time.
That it did.
It doesn't get any more real than that.
It doesn't get
any more real than that. So you're in it, and you do it out of sense of service. And again, deep on this conversation of immigration enforcement.
Yes.
And you and I've had much dialogue in that conversation, but we just want to hear from you, from your perspective today, and what you're feeling, what you're seeing, and what we could do better, or what we should do different, or what we're doing well and do more of. But it's important that we have these conversations. So thanks for joining us on this podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's your other job right there.
There I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always like watching those.
It's informative.
It's informative. It is. You see a lot of good stuff, and people have no idea how much real work's getting done, at those meetings. Sometimes it's sensational subjects, but other times just getting, our job done.
Right. We have to make sure that things continue to move.
Things are turned on, and bills are paid, and things like that.
Right.
So we'll start out with you. So what is the current? We've been talking immigration, a lot of anxiety, a lot of misinformation, some intentional. I'm pretty sure on both sides of the aisle. People throw stuff out and stir pots for a living sometimes. But the fact is, you're on North Clinton Avenue. You're in the
I'm on
heart.
North Clinton Avenue.
You're still a representative, so you're representing.
Yes.
So what are you feeling right now? Is it, still a lot of anxiety? Is it still, I'll
Sure.
put words in your mouth. So
Well, as you mentioned, I do represent the 22nd District, which is the largest population of Latinos within Monroe County. Monroe County is home to close to 70,000 Latinos. Although the majority are of Puerto Rican descent, we still have a large population that's not of Puerto Rican descent. And yes, there's a lot of anxiety that's happening in our community. I'm often filtering calls about what will happen to me if.
Right.
And often it's our folks that already have their citizenship.
Right.
And there's anxieties about that. Now, I can't speak to anything that happens at the federal level, but I can speak about what happens at the county and at the state level as I would know it. I try to put minds at ease to know that, if if you have a status as you're here, you have your paperwork, there's nothing to fear. You have everything intact. But there's still, even within the Puerto Rican community, there's a lot of misinformation. Now, people ask me, if you're a Puerto Rican, why is there anxiety? Understand that when agents are coming in through your community, it changes everything. It changes the dynamics of a community. It changes conversations within a community. Can a neighbor trust another neighbor?
Right.
So those are conversations that are have been happening for several years, and we continue to have. What can you expect? What's happening in our community, and really have a conversation. And I'm going to switch hats, and it's important that I switch hats.
Yeah.
Being a legislator is one thing, but being boots on the ground. I have a center right on North Clinton Avenue, and we service all nationalities,
Right.
the Yemenis community, the Latino community. Those conversations are happening in those communities as well, and they need a center point. They need an area where they can actually speak freely about what their anxieties are, particularly when it comes to their students who are going off to school every day.
Right.
So these are critical information that I feel is my job and my role as a legislator to inform the community of what's happening, what's myth and what's not.
Yeah, and to be able to have those contexts in other parts of the community, you can pick up the phone and ask questions, or pick up the phone and get real information, or pick up the phone and realize, share with the sheriff's office, as an example, what you're feeling, seeing, so we can then do the outreach. Half of this is communication, real time communication.
Yes, and I'll tell you,
Yeah,
I prior to coming on as a legislator, I did immigration work. We had a nonprofit that dealt with the renewal of DACA, the renewal of just different forms. So we've had this dialogue all along. Things have changed, dynamics have changed at the federal level. What does this mean for you? That conversation is important so that they're not misinformed.
Right. I went through the immigration process, not me personally, but we tried to bring a young lady here from Haiti. We had been doing outreach in Haiti for years with our church. And our goal was if we can get this young lady an MCC associate's degree, it's like a doctorate back at it, and get her the English skills. It's a game changer in Haiti. We fought 3 years, tooth and nail, crying. My wife crying in the middle of the night when she was turned down, this late. We fought to get this lady here for the blessings of America, right? And she got here, and she's got her associate's degree, and now she's living, in Miami and being successful. And there's way more to these stories that people just don't hear. The work you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's important that we have these conversations, that we get out deep into the community. And Deputy, you mentioned, I think 2018 we started your position, a bunch of volunteers to penetrate in the communities that might be disenfranchised with law enforcement, right? So one of them was immigration. We identified this back in 2018, and you joined that. And then with this current anxiety and sometimes lack of trust of law enforcement, we pretty much gave you a full-time position for a couple of days and said, go out and nail it. Go out and get deep in this community and converse and share. And you did it. You did it to a level I'd never even dreamed of you being able to do it. And part of it's your personality. But how about just a little experience of what that detail, as we'd call it, that brought to you?
It was interesting. You called me up. It was surprising when the superintendent calls you and say, "Call me." I'm like, "Oh man, am I in trouble?"
It's the positive world we live in.
He's like, the sheriff would like to talk to you. I'm like, "Oh man, I'm really in trouble now." But actually, it was a positive thing. We got in contact. The sheriff asked me to come up for 2 weeks and to spearhead this, to see what was going on in the community. There was a lot of anxiety, a lot of things going on. Maybe it was somewhat reactionary to questions that were coming because of Minneapolis and the general concerns that were going on. Right. After those 2 weeks, it turned into a 3-month project.
Right, it did.
Actually, Councilwoman Mercedes Vazquez Simmons was instrumental in all that. She was one of the first people that I went to contact. I've known her for many years, and her family, herself, have been leaders in this community. So you want to go to the people who are in the know.
Right.
I spoke to her. I spoke to Don Julio. I spoke to Dr. Pete, and they were all instrumental. She gave me a lot of contacts that I wouldn't have thought of, and
right.
She was very honest. Too many times people in that kind of position won't give you the full scoop. She was honest to a point where it was almost self-deprecating. This person might not like me too much, but their perspective will be important to the work that you're doing, and that was That's great awesome. Because that was honest, and that was more than I would have even asked of her. And we were able to do a lot, I think, in a short
absolutely
amount of time.
The numbers were incredible.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the opportunity. We had meetings, we had radio interviews, We got to speak to a lot of agencies in the community. Some wanted to do a gatekeeping role. Others allowed us to actually speak to the people who were most going to be affected by policy or fear or the anxiety. I do want to mention that Father Daniel of the Cabrini parish, he allowed us to speak to both of his congregations on a Sunday, and that was a level of trust that I was blessed to have, and we conveyed the message of the sheriff of immigration, of hopefully hope, and for people to understand that you should never be in fear to call law enforcement for help, because we are not in the immigration business. We are here to service the needs of our community, the crimes, victimization, any kind of thing like that. But the civil part of immigration is not part of what we do.
Right.
And that needed to be reinforced. And as Dr. Pete said, and Don Julio said, repeat.
Yeah, and the idea is we had this immigration liaison position for a long time, and then the unrest, if you will, kicks off, and the mistrust. And I can't possibly, do all this. But also, how much legitimacy will I have, right? Out there, I'm a politician, or, I just want, throwing someone from the community in the community that has to respond to the community, I thought was a powerful tool also. Not replacing Todd Baxter, but, in you did a job that was very difficult. You went into some environments that weren't pro law enforcement, I think, and that's what we should be doing. There's nothing wrong with that, but you were willing to step into that fire, and I got to give you credit publicly for doing that. That's not easy work. You did to a level not second to none. Going back to Legislator Vazquez Simmons, let's just talk. We're 5 minutes over already. This is awesome. Operation Stone Garden, right?
Yes.
Operation Stone Garden. So Operation Stone Garden, the sheriff's been getting this grant for 18 years. It's designed for border security from the standpoint of not immigration. It's designed for counterterrorism. That's how it started, right? Keep bad stuff coming across the border. Human trafficking. And in 18 years, we did 3 contacts with people with immigration status that were related to crime. So in my world, we're throwing this across to the legislators and no-brainer vote, right? But that's not reality. We know in the last few years we got tons of questions. We actually put together a sheet. It was a Q&A sheet. Can we just go back and research the legislator questions for the last 3 or 4 years, and let's answer them up front? With all that being said, you still voted no.
I did.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's the whole idea here. You have a perspective, I got a perspective. Isn't this the way it's supposed to work? There's no hate. There's no
Absolutely
God bless
not.
you. Vote the way you're supposed to vote based on your values and your constituents.
Right. I'll start off by saying I believe in law and order.
Yeah, of course you do.
I think anything that comes off through my desk as far as funding for sheriffs, I'm behind it, because we need a society of law and order, and I'll continue to say that. Public safety is by far one of my top priorities in my community. Again, District 22 is a very diverse community, but we have one of the largest Latino population. We have the largest Latino population. So when Stone Garden comes through, it's always a mixed emotion, but what's best for my community?
Yep.
Okay, and perception is everything. We look at that. We look at the Border Patrol component of it, and it's not a good fit. My constituency would not be okay with me voting for this, and I have to be mindful of my constituents and what they feel we should be doing at the legislative district. Again, 99% of the things that comes through as far as sheriff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can agree to disagree on how it's perceived in our community. It's not something that I can stamp.
And isn't that your job?
That's absolutely my job.
You're a representative.
Absolutely. And I have conversations through all the different departments in the county, and we could agree to disagree, but if it doesn't benefit my community, very specific to District 22, then I'll have to put a pass on it.
Yeah. Kind of your job description. And again, I don't think you received a phone call from Todd, right?
Absolutely
hey, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely
kind of
not.
predicted, right? I mean, we've seen this thing evolving for years, and that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to run. And
As it should be.
If it didn't happen then we'd have to, if we're public safety, we'd fill that gap another way, possibly, because we got 33 miles of border on the water. Talk about a porous border, not for immigration. I mean, literally, bad stuff comes across that border all the time. And human trafficking.
Now, there's legislators that voted for that in the past. I think I may have even voted for it early on. The climate has changed nationally. And based on that and what my community needs, again, District 22.
Right.
That's why we voted.
And I'm very happy it passed. I think we use this money wisely. I think we use it for what it's designed for. And we do have policies and procedures in place to make sure it's not used for any other reason. But if we're out for immigration enforcement, we kind of suck at it because we've done 3 in 18 years, right? I mean, but the standpoint is what your perspective is totally legitimate. Your perspective is totally yours. And that's the way the democratic process is supposed to work. You vote on it, and then we high five and let's move on to the next thing. Can we talk about something to help young people that are being shot up on Clinton Avenue, right?
That's right.
That's what, all right,
I have priorities.
Yeah. So let's work. Or how can we help, with your beautiful nonprofit that's, taking kids that might be wandering the streets and teaching them how to read. And these are wonderful things. So it's one community. We are like double time already. The short podcast just turned into a long podcast. The guys that got to edit this are yelling at me behind the scenes. Do you want to talk about the pictures real quick of why you look so mean in all the pictures?
Let's talk about
there's
that,
a
shall we?
There's a
happy one.
There's a happy. It's got to be the beard.
It's the beard.
It's the beard. All right. Grow the beard back. No. Another policy change. All right, we have to cut this. These guys are going to yell at me. Thank you for having just a conversation.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
Deputy, I've said it personally and I've said it formally now. Thank you for what you did. You took it to a whole new level, and I think that's important. But God bless you both, and thanks for what you do.
Sheriff.